Hello, welcome everyone. MTL Sports Podcast. We're on episode 73. 73 was supposed to come out this past week, but some technical difficulties in our recording process kind of just didn't put out a Super Bowl episode. It's probably a good thing because most of we had some picks on there that they weren't so good. But we're back and we're here today. That's all that matters. Super Bowl, we're overreaction, Super Bowl Monday, as Pat would say. We're going to break down the game. That's the only topic of today since it was such a big game. Last game of the season, so we're going to put a lot of thought into analyzing and breaking down this game last night. And then we'll have some too early predictions we'll throw into in the show since we won't have any rapid fire or anything. So, with all that being said, stay tuned. Let's kick it off. Super Bowl Sunday, we had Chiefs. We have 49ers. One hell of a game, although honestly, in the first half, I was thinking it was going to be a stinker. Thought it was going to be a Rams, Patriots type of a Super Bowl. No one wants that. Thank God that these two teams kind of made it a shootout the second half and overtime. Let's share our thoughts. Lawrence, you want to go first? I guess thoughts on Super Bowl, Chiefs back-to-back champions.
I mean, I just thought it was kind of convenient that, the ref who throws like the least amount of penalty flags in all of the NFL is he's the official, he's the lead official in his crew for the Super Bowl. And the most penalized team in the league this season was the Chiefs. And that was just a recipe. That was a recipe in itself. But I thought officially I didn't think the game was called horribly or anything. So I'm not going to sit here and say the officials did this, officials did that. I thought the officials were pretty clean. They allowed Patrick Mahomes to get creamed and destroyed and beat up fairly, a fair good amount.
On the other side too, Brock Purdy got wrecked a couple times.
Yeah, they let him play, which as long as you go both ways with it, it's cool. It's fine. I'm not going to sit here. I had an 8-legger, was one leg away from hitting, and literally came down the 49ers money line. And I'm not gonna lie, when Brock Purdy got blitzed, they blitzed like 7 or 8 guys on that third and fourth play or third and fourth play. I mean, I had guys at work telling me, they're like, "Yeah, Brock Purdy sucks. He didn't make that play at the end of the game." I'm like, "What'd you want him to do?" He literally had less than 3 seconds. He literally was in the middle of his drop back, and the guys were already there. It's like, obviously you weren't paying enough attention.
Probably drunk.
You got so many people, quickly to throw out the fact that, Brock Purdy, he wasn't him. He wasn't good enough. I mean, he pretty much put as many points up as Patrick Mahomes did. He got to overtime the same way. Brock Purdy's not the one going out there to kick an extra point that could have changed everything. So in reality, that extra point really did come out to really mean a whole lot. Because in reality, if that extra point had been made, it would have been a 17-13 game. That would have forced the Chiefs to score a touchdown with 1 minute and 37 left, instead of just kicking an easy field goal, because everything's easy to Harrison Butker. Which, if you remember correctly, the 49ers had him at 8 seconds left at like the 10-something yard line, 8-something yard line. I mean, that's only like 2 more plays. They ran the Kelsey play. It didn't work. There was like 6 seconds left in the game. Basically, you only get 2 more plays now. 1 more play if you take too long. That gives plenty of. I mean, the 49ers would have called a timeout. Bosa and all the boys at the line who've been getting home all day would have been ready. I mean, come on. Moody. I think in reality, the biggest event in the game, the big turning point, was the fact that one team, which you saw in multiple games, has had a kicker that was just consistent enough to win a game. So now you know why Adam Vinatieri was so efficient for Tom Brady for all those years. Now we're seeing that Harrison Butker is the same thing for Patrick Mahomes. When I need you to do something and I need you to kick the field goal or kick the extra point, you're going to make it. It's just automatic almost. And no one really talks like Harrison Butker this, Harrison Butker that. He's kind of overshadowed by a couple other guys in the league. But in reality, he doesn't need to be overshadowed. He is who he is, and he makes field goals, man. And I mean, that was it. Yeah, I'm a little bit depressed, man. Could have been so much better. Could have had so much more fun.
Yeah, I think the gambling aspect really, I think for me at least, kind of wore down, especially the conclusion of the game. I wasn't so mad about 49ers losing so much because I really don't have any stake in the game. My team was out. My team didn't make the playoffs. Yours didn't either. But the fact that it ended the way it ended, it kind of just like, you guys had like 5 quarters and like none of my props hit really, besides a couple. It's like, man. And like for you had one more leg, and that. So I can see how that's kind of a downer. I had some things that I thought definitely going to hit, like Pacheco touchdown, Travis Kelce touchdown. I had C-Mac 2 tubs, but that was more of a flyer. I wasn't really expecting that, but I will say though, like I said, first half was kind of a doozy. Thought it was going to be just a stinker, low scoring. Both teams couldn't sustain drives. 49ers only scored because of a trick play. So, I mean, in reality, if they don't run that trick play to success, they probably just kicking a field goal right there. So, good thing they picked it up second half. Both teams kind of were tired on defense, and definitely you could tell the 49ers put all they could into the first half. The second half, they were just, I mean, they really didn't force any. I think the Chiefs only had like 1 or 2 punts in the second half, and the one punt landed off the guy's ankle and caused that fumble, or I guess muff punt, and then Chiefs kept the ball back. Other than that, though, I'm not in the realm of hating Purdy or have any more questions. And I guess we'll turn the conversation this way. Purdy, to me, played well as you could ask for like a second-year guy. Yeah, he's great. Is he top 10? That's debatable. But, I mean, he played as well as he could. And like you said, on that last play in overtime, they sent the house. Even match protect wouldn't have got him maybe, a half a second? If you're bringing 8 guys and you're max protecting, that's 6 or 7 if you leave CMC in the backfield. They're still going to get to him. So, with all that being said, I think he did as well as he could. Then turn the ball over. Mahomes on the other end played fantastic, had a pick, but that was, he just overthrew Kelce, so I'm not too mad at that. But how are we looking at Purdy now? And now I just said he's probably maybe top 10, but should he be criticized as much as he's been the past couple weeks going forward?
No, not really. I mean, dude, he went to a Super Bowl. He went to a Super Bowl. He's been to an NFC Championship game. Yeah, you can say that his team is, really good around him. And, I don't get the whole, moniker, oh, he's just a game manager. Okay. I mean, so what? There's been a lot of quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl just being a game manager.
Yep.
There's been a lot of quarterbacks who win consistently just being a game manager. I don't see why you need him to be outstanding on every other play. Like, for one, Mahomes, it understands, Mahomes, if he had the 49ers team, we wouldn't call him a game manager. You'd call him, you would call it a super team. It's an absolute super duper team. But the 49ers team is literally built to win regardless if I have a super duper quarterback or not, because in reality, there's only so many good quarterbacks you can have around the league. I mean, not everyone's going to get an all-star quarterback. So what you have to do is you have to build a roster, and if in case I don't have an all-star quarterback, I can still win and make it, far in the playoffs. aka they made it to the Super Bowl. So what do you game manage this team? That's kind of the point. The point of the game for them is get the ball to the playmakers. Get the guys who make plays the ball. I think the big knock on the 49ers is the fact that they just stopped running the ball in the second half. I mean, the whole third quarter they were trying to do too much with passing the ball around. I'm not going to try to say they got too cute, but maybe they were trying to fight the stigma of like, oh, he's just a game manager. All he does is take care of the ball. He can't throw very well, and they were trying to prove people wrong. I don't know why you felt the need to try to do that if that was your mindset. Because it just felt like a little rhythm in the way your offense was running. I mean, I also didn't understand the fact they kept wanting to run down the middle. Like, why are you trying to run into the interior of the line where the Chiefs guys, they just literally conglomerate all together in the middle and you don't go anywhere. You either run between the guard and the tackle or you run to the outside with CMC. Like, you don't do it either. Like, even with Mitchell, like the two plays they gave to Mitchell, he ran it outside and he got big yards. Christian McCaffrey, every time he ran to the outside, he got good yards. That's what you should have kept doing. And the fact that you just stopped that and you decided to try to, do a little air raid offense in the middle of the game when that's not what was winning you the game in the first half. Like, okay, I get it. Maybe you were trying to change up the game plan to keep them honest. Well, when you went back to the running game, they weren't prepared for it again. So, no, I mean,
yeah, that was a little silly. It was giving the Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl all over again. But luckily, he changed his ways pretty quickly. It only lasted maybe a quarter and a half, and then
it was just a quarter.
Then Shanahan was like, "Oh, maybe I should just run the clock out," which he should have done the whole time. And I was telling people at work, like, bro, this is the last game. You have 8 months off. Like, run this man into the ground. Like, give him 25, 30 carries, whatever it took. And then on, I think it was First Take today, they were saying the same thing. And then Daniel was like, oh, he had 33 touches altogether. Bro, that's not enough. It's the last game. He's your best player by far. He was the offensive player of the year. Run this man into the ground. And then you have Elijah Mitchell, who can take some spare carries here and there, which he did, but he probably should have had more. I mean, it's pretty simple. And then you have Debo as well. Debo had 11 targets or something like that, but only caught 3 balls. They should have got him more involved. They should have got Kittle more involved. Because I understand if you want to get cute, but if you're going to get cute, at least make sure it's going to the right people. And I felt like they, when I say they, I mean Shanahan just wasn't being efficient in getting his best playmakers the ball. So that kind of contributed to, I guess, to their downfall, because technically it did have a 10-point lead.
It felt like they were trying to find guys who you don't normally find throughout the season to make plays in the passing game, which. Yeah. I thought the way they should have played, which is why you utilize McCaffrey even harder and more, is you should have played like the Bills, okay? Everyone gave Josh Allen crap for the way he played against the Chiefs. Josh Allen came, other than the 49er, Josh Allen came the closest to beating them. Yep. Josh Allen should have had overtime too, but his same deal. His kicker caused them the game, just like the 49ers kicker may or may not have caused them the game. You can never specify that completely for them, but that's what it just comes down to. The Chiefs wanted to keep everything in front of them. Okay, that's what they wanted to do. So the Bills were like, okay, cool. We're gonna do little slants out here, back here, behind the line of scrimmage. We're gonna run all this stuff. Well, you're never gonna get to touch the ball. Like we're gonna control the pace in which this moves. Man, you got Christian McCaffrey. You saw what the Bills did. Mimic it. Do the same exact thing. That's what you should have done. Just do what they did. That's all you need to do. Do what they did. Just do what they did. I mean, it worked for them. If it works for them, it'll work for you too, because they're not trying to play around that. They are who they are at that point in the season.
Yeah, the Bills had the recipe to beat the Chiefs, at least for this year. And you could arguably say the 49ers have better players. I mean,
to execute it.
To execute it, right? So, I mean, we did see some screens, some flare routes, some little short, just wheel routes by McCaffrey or Mitchell or Debo
and
on
use
like
check.
a jet and use check. So they did some of that, but like you said, it should have been more. And even honestly, we know Purdy can run. Why wasn't he running more? I don't need design quarterback runs, but
I want scrambles.
Shanahan should have told him, hey, 1, 2, 3, you don't see anybody, just go. Just take off. The offensive line held up pretty well, in my opinion. So I don't see why they couldn't open up a lane or two every couple other throwing plays, passing plays, and he could just run for 5 yards, 6 yards, anything to keep the clock going, because the greatest weapon against the Chiefs is taking away the clock, because the less clock they have, the better. The less time Mahomes has, the better. And they lucky that he only had 8 seconds left. 8 or 9 seconds left in the fourth?
Mm-hmm.
On that last play.
I also thought it was foolish. They went with the ball first in overtime. Like they were like, oh, we want the ball first.
Oh yeah, I was just about to get into that.
I was like,
how do we feel about that? Because I see both sides, honestly. But go ahead, you can go first. I see both sides of it.
I mean, personally, I would have rather seen the defense out there first if I'm the 49ers, because the defense played really good the whole game. They held their own against Mahomes, and honestly, I would have rather had the pressure be put on them first than my own quarterback. Mm-hmm. I want to see Mahomes do it. Yeah, we see Mahomes under pressure all the time. But I mean, honestly, it basically what I would have wanted them to go first, because I need to know what I need to do next. Do I need to score at all? Do I need to get 7? Do I need to get 3? See, the thing for the what do you call it? Kansas City. Kansas City knew I'm gonna go get 7 and win the game. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get 7 and win the game. They only got 3. That's all I gotta beat. All I gotta beat is 3. And they had all game to do it. They had all the time in the world to do it. And I once it was 4th and 1, and they let Patrick Mahomes run for probably a good 10, 11 yards.
Yeah.
Once I saw that, I was like, it's over. A little bit deflated. Like, it's over. It's whatever. All the wind came out of your sails. There's no other way to put it. Like, once he made that first down, I texted my buddies everywhere I saw and was like, well, that's game. That's game.
Yeah, I think looking from that perspective, giving the ball to them first, I completely see why you would do that. You want to see what you got to get, right? And then on your end, you're gonna have to go for it on 4th down. So every set of downs is 4. There's no punting the ball. It's none of that. So I get where a lot of people are going, because you let Mahomes go first, put the pressure on him. He needs at least 3. 7's probably ideal. But on the flip side, I could also see the other side saying, hey, your defense was just out there. They just ran down the field in less than a minute and a half, got a field goal. Your defense is tired. To me, it was pretty obvious that they were, weakened and tired. And just imagine, you go, or you let them go first, and then they just march down the field really fast, and then that just creates a whole wave of pressure on Purdy and Shanahan, and then he has to craft some special stuff up. And then on another, I guess, point is people, I guess, were saying is they're playing the long game, as in, okay, if we get the ball first, we score no matter what. They get the ball back, they score no matter what, and the next score wins. So in that scenario, I could definitely see why Shanahan went with getting the ball first, because their offense was moving the ball. So he probably was thinking, hey, we're gonna score, we're gonna get 7. We're going to have to make them go get 7, which they probably will do because the defense is tired. And then when we get the ball back, all we got to do is get the field goal. So we're just going to ground and pound. This time isn't, necessarily a factor because with the new overtime rules, it's basically just a new game. You just keep playing. I guess after the third score, you just keep playing until you get a third score, if that was the scenario. So time wasn't really of the essence. So I could see why, if you put that in perspective, why he got the ball first. But I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't know. I don't think I could have made that call. That's just really tough. But 49ers, if you get the ball first, bro, you gotta score a touchdown. I guess the field goals is nice, but if you're going against Mahomes, bro, you gotta get a touchdown. But I definitely see. You definitely have to kick the field goal. I think you got to get the points because Mahomes is going to get points.
Yeah, basically, I was, I bet on Wake Forest to cover the spread. I put the rest of the money I had left in there, and what can I say? The Duke player just dunked the ball with 9 seconds left, and all the Wake Forest players were done playing, and they're like, we're ready to go home. We're down 6 by 6. We're down by 6. It's whatever. We'll just go to the locker room. They're all walking down the court. Duke guy just dunks the ball with almost no time left. Unnecessary.
So
I just lost. They just won by 8. The Duke guy and then he made all the Wake Forest players just walk back down the field, back down the court to inbound the ball because you want to dunk it. Oh my god,
man, it's just unlucky week for some sports gamblers, but yeah. So I got no gripes with Shanahan's overtime calling. What do you think? And people also saying the 49ers should have probably gone for it on that fourth down. Would you have gone for it? I think you got to take the points.
No, I would have taken the points.
Yeah, I think that was just the safe bet. Because I think it was fourth and...
It wasn't 4.
Yeah.
Because it was 3rd and 4. But, the big thing is, right, if you go for it and you don't get it, then all Mahomes has to do is kick a field goal. And literally Harrison Butker hit a 57-yard field goal. So that was the bane of my existence, was Harrison Butker being complete in utter goat mode all night. Longest field goal in Super Bowl history.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Played a hell of a game. Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, well deserved. Honestly, if Jennings would have caught that pass, if Purdy would have hit on that second pass, or on that 3rd and 4, I think Juwan Jennings probably would have been Super Bowl MVP, right? You throw for a touchdown, then you probably have 2 receiving touchdowns. He's probably MVP.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings would have been MVP.
Yeah. So I think overall it's a good game. Like I said, no blatant rigged calls, unlike the previous 2 years. The Bradbury from last year, that little holding call, and then Rams Bengals Super Bowl, that holding by I think it was Logan Wilson. The holding call wasn't no damn holding. Kind of gave the Rams the game, give them those set downs in the end zone. Kind of bullshit, if you ask me. But not here nor there. I guess anything else you want to add to Super Bowl? 50? This was 57 or 58, right?
58.
58. Last thoughts?
I got nothing else to add. The winner won and the loser lost. In my opinion, I think the 49ers are given plenty of opportunity to win and close out that game, and they just did not.
Just did not. I agree.
They just did not.
In terms of way too early predictions, what do we see next season going? Do the Chiefs three-peat? Do we see another team standing in their way? How do you see next season going in your way too early predictions?
My way too early predictions, the drought has to go. The You don't just keep making the playoffs. I mean, you look back at the Patriots back in the day. They didn't just go to the playoffs every single season. Something always happened in the middle of your dynasty run. Something always happens. Next year, the Chiefs don't make the playoffs. I said it this year. It's going to happen next year, guys, you know? Eventually, I'll be right, but I just feel like the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl next year. No, sorry. I don't think they make the playoffs next year. I think some other teams in their conference get a little stronger, get a little better. I think they get a little worse. Snead is definitely gone. He deserves to get paid. Chiefs don't pay on defense. Chris Jones is probably staying because they know that's what they got to keep. But I mean, without amazing secondary, which they always seem to find a good way of building constantly.
Yeah,
I think they'll suck a little bit more. Way too early predictions. Man, I said it yesterday when I was feeling it in my heart, so I'm going to say it again. I got the Rams and Bengals next year since everyone likes to have freaking repeats, apparently. And we want to keep repeating the same Super Bowls, everyone. You know, Chiefs 49ers, it's not like we had it 4 years ago. You know, script. You know, we're gonna let Stafford have his farewell tour with 2 good wide receivers and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Maybe they upgrade on tight end and let Higbee be this backup tight end, which will allow him to be more of a blocking tight end, which is probably what he is better at. You know, maybe go all in on defense outside of that because you know you got a running game, you got wide receivers, you'll get a tight end, boost it up. Aaron Donald will retire, Matt Stafford will retire, and then you just let the Bengals get beat up again, and we just hee ha ha the same thing all over again because that's what we do here in the NFL. Repeat the same thing over again, and think it's not, and think it's all right. You know, whatever.
I like it. I'm kind of echoing the same sentiments in terms of I think Snead's gone. I think Chris Jones is gone. I think that Kansas City is probably going to pivot because he's 29. I think he's going to be 30 at some point this year. So, 30 is kind of like a death wish in the NFL for anyone besides a quarterback. So, I don't think they are going to be willing to invest the money that he wants. I don't think he's going to want to take a discount because if he was going to take a discount, he would have taken it this offseason or this previous offseason. So that being said, I think he's gone. Where he's going, I don't know. Cincinnati, hey, we got $60 million in cap. We can make something happen. So I think he's gone. I think they're going to invest the money that they would have given it in Chris Jones. They're going to go out and get a solid. I'm not going to say solid. They're going to probably get a pretty good number one. Whether that's trading for like Devontae Adams or somebody, I feel like that's their move. I think that's their play. Because obviously I think Kelsey is kind of on the backside of his career. I'm not saying he's still not great, but he's definitely on the decline slightly. And I think you probably need someone to complement Rice while he's still kind of growing into being the number one. So you probably have like a stopgap number one, whether that's, trading for Devontae or I don't know. Someone's going to be available. Maybe they still T. Higgins. I don't know. But they're going to get number one. And then as far as matchups, I guess I could do 49ers as well. 49ers, I think we'll see some regression because I think I don't know if they're going to pay Chase Young. They probably let him go. They don't get that pick back, obviously, that they spent to Washington. I think they probably let him go. I think they got to pay Ayuk. I don't know if that's going to happen. They got to pay a couple guys. So 49ers will probably see some decline. And then in terms of matchups, I'm with you, at least with the Bengals. I think next year, secondary has another year. They're really young this year. Next year, they'll be more experienced. They'll have a similar turnaround as the Chiefs secondary. Joey will be back. T will be back, hopefully. Mixon hopefully takes another pay cut, and he's back. And then we'll get the rookie from this year. He'll start. And then on the NFC side, shoot. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna be 49ers. I could see Rams. Honestly, something's saying Eagles. I think Eagles might come back. But they gotta fix the culture.
I don't know about the Eagles because Hassan Reddick has already asked to be traded.
You don't think so?
No, I feel like a lot of those guys.
They're gone.
I think that pretty much a lot of that team's going to move on. They don't have a lot of money to give out, and they're going to have to free up money, which means they're going to have to trade some guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said earlier this season, that O-line has just been getting older and older. It ain't what it used to be. It's basically what the Cowboys O-line was about 4 years ago, when everyone's like, yeah, the Cowboys O-line is the best O-line in the league. Okay, but they're all old. And that same season, that O-line came to defeat them because it got beat up by the end of the season and didn't make it all the way there. And so
This is true.
It's just going to be the same thing over again.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got a weird feeling about the Eagles, but I definitely could see the Lions actually making the Super Bowl. So those are my two picks. Either one of those two teams probably going to make it to Super Bowl. So Bengals and then either Lions or Eagles. So that's my 2 cents. Other than that, I got nothing else. That was the Super Bowl recap, I guess. So we don't have football for about another 6 months. I mean, we got XFL, but that doesn't start till the end of next month. We'll be covering that. We're getting season tickets, so we'll be at every home game for the DC Defenders. So we'll be up close and personal. But we probably won't start covering that until, I don't even know. Do they have preseason or anything like that, or they just get straight into it?
They just get straight into it.
So we probably won't start covering them till like a week before they start, right? Probably just go over rosters and.
Yeah, I still think they're trying to finalize what they're going to do for rosters.
Oh, yeah. So we definitely, So probably won't hear us talk about football for a while. So probably what's going to happen, guys, is we'll probably, Wednesday is V-Day, so Valentine's Day, so we won't record. All-Star Weekend is this weekend, so probably no show Monday and maybe a show next week. But we'll probably talk about that. But anything else before we go? Before our little break, our little week and a half break?
No. Just hopefully I'll be less depressed by then.
Hopefully
he'll be back up.
Get the spirits back up. For me, hopefully, I don't know if you guys have been following this whole The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and all this nonsense. I'm loving it. The Cody Crybabies, all that good stuff. If you guys have been following, I meant to cover it a couple episodes ago, but WrestleMania is looking pretty spicy. So we'll have to keep on watching Raw, keep on watching SmackDown. But other than that, guys, MTL Sports Podcast, episode 73. We're going to be gone for about a week or so. So until then, we're out. Peace.
Giving me